Good evening. One of the things I see a lot on Facebook and on YouTube are people requesting somebody to teach them how to be a Wiccan. And I think this is one of the hardest things possible to do online. And I want to go through some of these points on why it's so hard to help others out. The first thing that everybody must remember is that not all pagans are Wiccans, but all Wiccans are pagans. You see, paganism is an umbrella term. It covers all the different um, denominations that are pagan. You see, Wicca is just one denomination. It is considered the largest one, especially with all the eclectic Wiccans out there. But it is not the only denomination. You see, you could be a Druid and still be a pagan. We have the Strigans, who are Italian. They are pagans. You have your Norse. You have all these different groups, and they will still be pagans. Doesn't mean that they're Wiccans, but they are pagan. So that is the first thing you need to realize. Now, what do you want out of your pagan experience? Are you trying to be a witch? Do you believe in magic? You see, we need to know what you're wanting, what your heart is telling you before anybody can help you. Okay? Because there are people that just want to rebel. Some people that they don't know what they want. And so you have to find out what your reasons why you want to be a pagan before you can take that first step forward into being a pagan. Because if it's all for the wrong reasons, you are just wasting your time. Now, one of the classic books that I personally believe that every pagan should read is Wicca, The Guide for a Solitary Practitioner by Scott Cunningham. Now, this is a wonderful book. If you have not had a chance to read any books about paganism or Wicca, get this book and read it first. Scott Cunningham is a very good writer, and he has a lot of useful information in there. So please read this book. There are hundreds of good pagan authors out there that you can read. Raven Grimassi is a good writer. He focuses a little bit more on the Strega Italian branch of paganism. We have Eda McCoy, Conway. There are thousands of books. Sorry, I was looking at my bookshelf just trying to pick a name up real quickly. If you are like me and you want to focus on the Celtic people, you're looking to be a Druid. And one of the great writers, in my opinion, for learning about Druidism and paganism in general is Isaac Bonewits. So please read some books. That'll be the first thing that could help you. Now, if you are new to paganism and you are from the Abrahamic religions, you are going to face a major difference here. While the Abrahamic religions focus on God worship, a lot of the pagan religions devote more time on goddess worship. There are some that are really focused on goddess worship, such as your Dianics. But most pagans have a wonderful balance between God and goddess. Paganism is more open sexually. It is not trying to tell you this is wrong, that's wrong. They want you to embrace life and enjoy life. That is very important, being a pagan, because being a pagan is about finding your inner peace. What's here is what matters. Here, and you will go many wonderful places. So, how do we get started? The first thing you're going to need is this right here, a notebook. This is going to be your Book of Shadows. You're going to hear this word a lot, these words a lot. A Book of Shadows is your treasury of knowledge into your path, the road that you walk on. You're going to write down in here. What you find important, you're going to write down in here. And that's why it's very important to you. This is something you don't want a lot of people to touch. In fact, you really don't want anybody else to touch. This is private. It is personal. It is your spiritual journey. So you're going to have to hide it if you got a lot of people in your house, apartment, and all that. You know, there's a lot of people that are very young, still live with their family, that will look down on pagans. Stick it underneath your bed. Put it someplace where you can hide it very well. This is my Book of Shadows. Okay. Nice big binder. Mine's a double binder, actually. Where I put all my information, and it's important to me. And so you're going to be building this if you want to be a pagan. Okay. But you need to start off simple. Just grab a little notebook. You got to be asking yourselves a lot of questions, and you're going to have to answer a lot of questions and all that. Your journey is about exploring yourself. You as an individual, what you find important, what you don't like. All these are important things that you have to face on your journey. Okay, so paganism is everywhere. You might not realize it, but you have probably honored the pagan goddess more than you realized. Weather, you know how they say good old Mother Nature, done this or done that, you know, Mother Nature. Earth goddess, the mother goddess. They're all one and the same. So you are honoring the mother goddess, which is essential in paganism when you talk about Mother Nature. All right? Now, paganism has a unique story when it comes to getting its name. Back in early Christianity, when they were spreading out some people say that it is the British Isles, some people say it's Spain and all, but for what I have researched, it is the British Isles, where a lot of the Christians, early Christians, were in the cities. And it was the country dwellers that hung on to the old ways. Pagan means rustic dweller, or city or country folk. And so Christianity started a class warfare, and they started calling them pagans, you know, as to insult them, you know, you country bumpkin type thing. And it stuck. And so if you are a pagan, you are being called a rustic dweller in Old Latin. So that is the first thing you got to realize is, where does the word pagan come from? Now, the next, in your little notebook, I want you to write down, ask this question: what is a pagan? Well, a pagan is really anybody that practices the old ways from pre-Christian belief systems in Europe. Now, I concentrate in saying from Europe because I try to show respect to other groups. You see, a lot of Wiccans like to combine European beliefs with Native American beliefs, or they try to take some African concepts or Hindu concepts and mix them with this, that, everything. And I don't believe in doing that. But that is my ideals. They say this is one of those problems with Wicca, and have one person try to teach you, because one person's ideals does not work with everybody else. So you have to, and this is the hardest thing, you have to listen to what I say, and you take what you can get as what you think is valuable from me, and you remember it. You go listen to somebody else, and you take what you find of value, and you keep that. and you will learn from many different people, different little tidbits of information, and you will put them together and you will form your tradition, your path. And that is kind of the way it works when you are a Wiccan. All right? Now, that is being mostly eclectic Wiccans, There are what we call traditions. These traditions are established religions, or I should say denominations of paganism. Kind of like how Methodist is a denomination of Christianity. Well, we have different paths for paganism. Now, there are your Druids, like believe I've mentioned. Well, even in the Druids, there are subgroups. The ADF is one, American Druid Fellowship, if I remember right, that's what it's called. There's one group that has a name I can't pronounce, but these groups are established. You're going to hear terms of Gardenian Wicca, Alexandrian Wicca. These are these sub-denominations of Wicca. And so you can choose to take one of these. There's, I mentioned Dianic Wicca as well. That is where women are the priestesses and there are no priests because it's basically it's a women's group. Okay, so learning about these different paths is also very important because you'll find the one that works with you. Now, as I said, pagan means country dweller. Pagans take the earth serious. Earth-based religion is what paganism is. And so it is very important that you are able to understand and embrace nature. Take the time to learn about your local environment. I know it's harder for a lot of people that live in the bigger cities because they can't just go out the door and enjoy the fresh air. But you need to try to get away from the big cities. I am lucky I live in Iowa where we got a lot of country and there's a state park that I love to go to. And I walk it. I walk the deer trails and such. I get away from everybody. This is how I commune with nature. You need to do this as well. This is how we understand nature. And sometimes you just talk to yourself. You talk to the nature. You talk to the trees. Talk to the plants and all that. And you start to get yourself in tune. Sometimes we have to take the world that we live in today, this hustle and bustle, constant crazy world, and just push it away and get back one-on-one with nature. This is how to get harmony back into our lives, finding that inner peace. There was a study that 15 minutes of nature every day can reduce our stress levels. Do it. And you will find yourself, happier. When you're out there, I want you to also look at the plants, look at the animals, because sometimes you're going to find something that surprises the heck out of you. The most interesting thing that happened to me, this would have been about 8 years ago. I was walking at the state nature park. I was walking on the trails, and this was just after rain, and I was just looking around, and I saw what looked like a snail. I'm going, a snail in Iowa? No. I'm seeing things here. So I picked it up, and it was a snail, and we have tree snails. Wow. This was something I learned, and that just set my day off wonderfully because I discovered something that I did not know before. And this is another important part of being a pagan. You have to have an open mind. You must be able to open your mind to all the possibilities. This universe is vast. There is so much that we don't know, that we can't comprehend right now. Who knows what tomorrow brings? We don't know. And so we learn. You got to constantly learn. The day you stop learning is the day you stop living. Okay? I was reading an article today about stars, how they found stars that travel millions of miles per hour. Wow. And that's just something that, I couldn't picture happening before, but now that I see it, it changes the universe. As vast as it is, there are these little stars that can just shoot across, vast spaces in so little time. And I enjoy it. So I want you to enjoy the world around you. You got to study the smallest little things, like little tree snails. And you got to expand yourself up into hypervelocity stars. Because there is so much we don't know. And it's hard to be part of nature when you don't know anything about it. And that is the cycle of life. Write this down, please. The cycle of life is very, very important. For one thing to live, something else must die. And I know that sounds cold-hearted, but that is the fact of Mother Nature. And Mother Nature isn't always the nicest. For you to eat, something must die. So for your continuance is based off other animals dying. Please do not make their deaths something in vain. Okay? You see, some animals, they don't live much of an existence. I mean, look at cows and such, the poor animals. But they are essential for people to survive. And so you got to show them some respect. You don't go, oh, that's a dumb cow and all that. No. His situation is limited, so he may live in a bad life. But you got to see this. See the full scale of the cycle of life. Humans live in a linear existence. We are born at point A. We die at point B. There's a straight line all the way through it. Everything that happens on that straight line is our life. And when we hit point B, it's over. Hopefully between point A and point B, you have found somebody and you have a child, and their continuance, their life is point A here. And so although you die at point B, there's a part of you that continues in their point A. And that is the cycle of life. Okay?